Welcome to this explainer. Okay, picture this for a second. You're an HR professional or a hiring manager. You've got a massive stack of resumes on your desk, and boom, you find the perfect candidate. They have the exact certification you need for a critical upcoming project. It feels like a massive win, right? But here's the catch. How do you actually prove they have the credential they claim to have? Honestly, it sounds like it should be the absolute easiest part of your day. You just look it up online. Well, as we're about to see, navigating third-party credential systems is actually a pretty complex journey. It is filled with privacy walls and bureaucratic dead ends. So today, we're exploring the specific pathways of third-party certification verification, and we are going to uncover what I like to call the master key that you need to unlock the truth.
Okay, let's dive into our map of the maze. We're going to systematically break down the verification puzzle, what happens when candidates go missing, the opt-out dilemma, confirming certification status, and finally, unlocking the details.
Section 1. The verification puzzle.
So the starting point for almost any verification journey is the online certification registry. This is a public-facing online database designed specifically for verifying a person's certification status. In a perfect world, you just type in a name, the credential pops right up, and you move on with the hiring process. Easy, right? But as any seasoned investigator or hiring manager will tell you, you are very often going to run into invisible walls when you search this registry. Navigating these third-party systems is rarely as simple as a quick web search.
Moving right along to Section 2, when candidates go missing. If you reach out for third-party verification, you might receive a somewhat robotic response that looks exactly like this. It reads, "Based on the information you provided, I am not able to clearly determine if this person holds an active/current certification." Now, that sounds like a rejection, doesn't it? It kind of sounds like the candidate lied to you. But actually, scratch that, it isn't a rejection at all. This specific, carefully worded response simply means the verifier lacks a unique qualifier to locate the correct profile. I mean, think about how many people share the exact same first and last name. This response absolutely does not suggest the person is or is not an active certification holder. It just means you need to go back to the candidate, reconfirm their name, or better yet, get a unique qualifier like their specific certification ID number so the system can actually find them.
Now, what's really interesting about this is the stark contrast between the response we just looked at and a true denial. On the left side here, we have "can't find." This is what we just discussed. The system is just unable to identify the status based on the provided info, prompting you to request an ID number. But now, look at the right side. No. This states clearly that they do not have a record of this person holding an active or current certification. It's a subtle wording difference, for sure, but for an HR professional, it's a massive distinction. One literally means, give me more data to search, and the other means, we checked, and they aren't here.
And here is that definitive no response up close. I do not have record of this person holding an active/current certification. When you hear this, you have hit a hard wall. But here is the most fascinating part of the whole verification process. Even in this outright rejection scenario, if you want any additional information pertaining to your request, the third-party verifier will not give it to you without that master key we talked about earlier. And that master key is a release form signed by the individual in question. Without that signed consent, the conversation is completely over.
Which brings us to Section 3, the opt-out dilemma. So here is a major twist in the verification process. Certification holders may actually choose not to be listed in the online certification registry, even if they hold a completely valid active certification. This means your candidate might be perfectly legitimate, highly qualified, and fully certified, but they've actively chosen to hide their status in plain sight for privacy reasons. Their name simply will not appear within the public listing at all.
So what happens when you try to verify a candidate who has opted out of the public registry? Well, you receive a response just like this. For us to assist you with providing the requested information, we will require a release form signed by the credential holder. Because the candidate opted out, the certifying body is legally bound by privacy rules. They can't even tell you if the person is certified or not based on a standard query. The only way forward, literally the only way to bypass this privacy wall, is to have the candidate sign that release form, attach it, and contact the certification agents directly.
All right, Section 4, confirming certification status.
The sweet sound of success. Listen to the official yes response. I can confirm that person A is a current certification holder. They'll also note that you can see this person's name in the online certification registry. It's validation. It means your candidate was telling the truth and you can finally proceed with the hire. But wait, and this brilliantly illustrates a key limitation in the system. As great as a yes is, it actually doesn't give you the whole picture.
Let's look at the limits of this yes response. Yes, it confirms their current status as a holder. Yes, it refers you back to the public registry. But what if you want to know when they got the certification, or when it expires, or, and this is a big one, if they've ever had any disciplinary action taken against them? Well, you hit the exact same wall we've seen in every other scenario. The rules explicitly state that to provide any additional information pertaining to your request, they still require a release form signed by the credential holder. Even with a yes, if you want the real deep dive into their actual file, you are locked out without the candidate's explicit written consent. And that leads us to our final part, Section 5, unlocking the details.
So the crucial point is what happens after you finally submit that signed consent form. You don't just get a simple yes or no anymore. You get the exact certification name and their unique certification number. You get the exact date the certification was granted and the certification end date, which is super vital for knowing if you'll need to pay for their recertification soon. You get their exact status, whether active or expired. But look at that very last row. Disciplinary action. This is incredibly high-stakes data. Knowing whether a candidate has had disciplinary action taken against their credential is a massive piece of the hiring puzzle, and as we can see, it is entirely locked away behind that signed release form. Consent is absolutely everything here. Let's bring this all together into a really actionable workflow for anyone who needs to verify these credentials. Step 1. Always check the online certification registry first. It's by far the easiest path if they haven't opted out. Step 2, when you inevitably hit a roadblock, whether they're missing, opted out, or you just need those deeper details, obtain a signed release form from the candidate immediately. Seriously, don't waste time going back and forth. Step 3, contact the agents directly via their web contact link or via fax and simply attach the signed release form. As we've seen, that piece of paper is the ultimate master key. It bypasses the can't find errors, it cuts right through the opt-out privacy shields, and it opens up the full, detailed history of the candidate. Navigating credential verification isn't just about searching a database. It's about understanding the rules of data privacy and knowing exactly what tools you need to get the full story. So whether you're the one doing the hiring or you're the professional managing your own privacy settings and credentials, I want to leave you with a thought. Do you have the keys to verify your next hire? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Until next time, stay curious and keep learning.